hello, everyone. See Raymond's here. Hello, Raymond. Destiny. Hello, and happy birthday. Was your birthday sometime this week? Monday, was it? I'm not as good as you with the dates. Deb, hire me, put you on a big screen, big TV screen in the house. Awesome. Thank you so much. And I think you guys are still live, so it's even more amazing. Hello, Marilyn. Thanks a lot. Angie should join me in a few minutes. It was Wednesday last week. Okay, so Marilyn, to answer your question, I didn't promote the giveaway. I wasn't sure if I was going to be on tonight. It's super mega busy, and there's a lot of things going on right now. Inside my own head, it was like a punching bag. And I figured it was better to just wait after the hunt was over, and that way I can promote it a little bit more, and I'll have time to share and promote and all that kind of stuff. Hello, Tracy. That's awesome. 16 months. You're tough. I keep saying I need to start putting more stuff on there, and I'll get some weeks where I'll be putting like 3-4 things, and then it's like nothing for a few weeks. I'm sorry if I have any member that's really not satisfied. Let me know. I'll start putting more stuff, or I'll refund you. I don't mind. I have to scare it all away from the coop. Oh, that's not fun. So I keep saying health comes first, and when the moose draw happened, there was myself, my daughter, my father, my mother, my brother. I'm thinking maybe my sister-in-law, Jag and Lindsay. So there was 2, 4, 5, 7 or 8 people of us applying together. Chances are like 1 out of 12. So basically, our odds were somewhat pretty good, and none of us came out. Yeah, that's awesome, Marilyn. Thank you so much. I need to start promoting you more, sharing you, giving you shout outs. I've been doing it for a little while, and I just realized today that I haven't shared any video from Tracy lately. Well, I don't think I've shared any videos of Tracy except for a few live streams, so I need to get that going. So yeah, none of us came out for moose draw. So in my head, it was like, okay, well, it's not fun. It happens. We're not gonna go moose hunting this year. And then my cousin calls me. He's like, hey, my dad got his tag. We were thinking about doing like a father-son thing. It would have been me and my dad, my cousin, and my uncle. And I say my cousin, but it's really more like a brother. He's my bro. He's my best friend. And it would have been awesome. Until he found out that he had cancer. So that kind of put everything aside. I mean, life is more important than going hunting. So to me, it was like, it's a no-brainer. We're not going to go. Like, he needs to take care of his health. He needs to take care of himself and spend time with the family. And but then he told us that he really wanted to go, like, no matter what, whether I'm home not doing anything or in a truck not doing anything. I mean, I want to go for a drive, go in the woods, spend some time in nature, and so we're going. And then we learned that there was a possibility that the cancer could have spread, and if it did, and the chances were good according to the way that the doctor spoke, because he put a hold on everything. Apparently, he only needed surgery, and the doctor put a hold on everything, and it just needed to make some new test. So at that point, I'm like, well, you know what? Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I mean, if the cancer's spreading, we're not going hunting. Like, it. I want my uncle to live. Like, that's the main thing. And then I remember talking to you guys and ask you guys, whoever believes in prayers, to say a prayer for him. And turns out that the cancer did not spread. So all he needs is a surgery and he'll be fine. The more we were moving forward in the calendar, the more it was looking as though the surgery might end up around the hunting season. So I figured, we're not going to go hunting. It's okay. Like, I was used to it. I was ready for it. My brain was, like, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with it. But then it was like, nah, like, it's not going to happen. The surgery is not now. He's supposed to go see the doctor like a few days before. The surgery is not going to happen like 2-3 days after. So we're going to go hunting. And then my uncle started getting sick, real sick, to the point where, he was puking blood, and it wasn't really looking good. And he needed to go see the specialist again, only to find out that the cancer did not progress, but it is in a place where the surgery is a little bit more delicate. And once again, if you believe in prayers, say a prayer. If you believe in positive thinking, think positive, because the odds are still good. The odds is still in his favor. There's still 15% chance that he might end up paralyzed forever, which is better than certain death. Let's admit it. Let's face it. I'm sorry. I thought I heard like some screaming upstairs. So yeah, at that point we were like, if he's sick, we're not gonna, like, I don't want to force him, or I don't want him to feel the stress of having to go in the woods because of us. Like, I mean, I'm okay. Like, I have a full freezer. I don't need to go. Like, I love hunting, but I mean, it's not worth it if my uncle is sick and he can't go. And last night, my dad calls me. He's like, well, your uncle calls. We're going. He wants to go. We're going. I'm like, okay, right on. Like, but thing is, I'm not ready. I seriously didn't think that we were going to go hunting. So tomorrow morning, I'm doing my turkeys. Tomorrow in the afternoon, we have to go set up some stuff at the trailer at the trailer, where we will be sleeping for a week. Set the propane, put the fridge on, and all that kind of stuff. I wanted to go pick up some apples. I still have to preserve a bunch of zucchinis. I have about 5 rabbits, maybe 6, that needs to go in the freezer. My Jeep is full of boxes that my brother-in-law got shipped from Amazon over here. He's working out west. He wants me to deliver that to his house. I mean, we have the spare key, so we can go in, bring the stuff inside. That might have to happen on Sunday. Usually when I go moose hunting, I mean, I get out of work at 4. I come home until 5, spend time with the kids until 6 maybe, and then I go in the woods. Well, most of the time I'll bring one of the kids most of the kids will with me until at least Saturday or Sunday, and then I bring them back home, and then I go back again. But I'm just not ready. I didn't really expect to go. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Hello, Sarah. Thank you for stopping by. I'm back. Almost said I'm black. I'm back. They flew away when I went out. Awesome. Well, yeah. Um, you never know, right? Because anything can happen. Um, Life is full of surprises. Sometimes it's bad surprises. Um, we try to enjoy everything we have. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna enjoy being there with my uncle and my dad, and hopefully we can fill up the fourth freezer I have. Serge is here. Hello, hello, Serge. If you're going there tomorrow on your property very, very early in the morning, you should see me. If not, I am supposed to get up around 7. I should be there around 7:30. So usually you're not there yet. If you're not in a big rush, don't rush it. I have to go get the turkeys and do what I have to do. So then I have to bring them over on my buddy's place. We'll do all the remove all the feathers, butchering and gutting and all that kind of stuff. So people saying hi. Nice. It will be a good way for him to forget his illness. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. We usually go hunting. It's for my dad. It's always been about family, and my dad can be he can be a joker, even more than me. He'll be teasing you. Once he gets to know you, he'll be teasing you, and he'll laugh and make fun of everyone and everything, and not in a bad way or in a way to make you feel uncomfortable, just in a way to, I don't know, the old people, like he's 65, takes a beer or two, and then just it's funny. Hello, Angie. Thank you for being here. Angie might join me later on if she has time, and we might be talking about her cabin, where it's going, how fast or how slow it's going, everything that can happen that can slow things down. Bring zucchini. Are you going to be there? If you're there, I will definitely bring some. How are you processing the zooks? I tried a recipe from the Ball book. Pickle zucchinis. Honestly, I didn't like the smell of all the spices put together, so I doubt that I'll be liking it. But like I told my girlfriend, I'm gonna eat it just because I'm stubborn and I don't like wasting. So, it's definitely gonna go in my belly, even if I don't like it, it will go in my belly. But most of the time, I'll either dehydrate them, and then I can put some like those popcorn powder, give it a little bit more flavor, and eat them as chips, or maybe even put them in the oven for a little bit, like at 2 Fahrenheit. Now that they're dehydrated, I put them in the oven. Another way that I preserve them is I slice them up and vacuum seal them, put them in the freezer, and then I'll be cooking them. Just fry them up with salt, pepper, and butter. And oh my god, this is so good, so good, so good. May need you later. I think my cat broke my laptop touchpad. So you need me to fix the laptop, or you need Tracy to tell you how to handle the cat? Yeah, most of the time, if you shut it off or do a good restart, it fixes most of the stuff. If not, I doubt that there's much I can do. It depends what you did, but sure, you can come whenever. I sent you the link. Just follow the link and come join me up here. I don't intend to be here too late, but if I can do at least an hour or more, whatever happens, even better. Hello, Cindy. Thank you so much for stopping by. And there is Angie from Me New Acres. Hello, Angie.
I know. It's so weird. I couldn't figure out my Facebook password to get on my laptop, so I'm on my phone, and it's so
Oh,
weird.
a little bit smaller, isn't it?
A lot, yeah.
I know Tracy won't let me harm the cat. Of course not. Is it better this way or this way?
Well, I can see my phrase when you did it that way. My
Well, I
flyway.
can see that I'm half bald, but that's fine. That's fine. Um, so yeah, figure why not have you here? You guys are building your off-grid cabin. Well, not 100% off-grid. I mean, you'll have electricity, I think.
Yeah, we're on hydro. We decided
Okay.
to over the last well we've been building it was 2 years in August that we started the whole like clearing of the land and building and everything, and little by little we started taking more and more off our plates, so we decided hydro was the way to go for now. And later on when we're more established we may have at least a solar backup, because
Mhm.
I loved being on solar, so we're probably going to go that route later on, but more as a backup system than anything. But
Awesome.
yeah.
And so you said it. You started 2 years ago,
Hmm.
and whoever's been watching your videos, I mean, it's been a long journey. It's been fun for us fans to watch, but for you guys, you must be exhausted.
I'm tired. I'm not gonna lie, I'm tired, and I've noticed over the last, like, I'm gonna say probably spring. Last winter was the longest winter I think we've had up here, and being in the barn with no lights and all that stuff was really hard. But now I'm also working full time, so I don't have a lot of the free time I had before. So I find that I'm just always trying to keep up, because if we're not working or Mike's going to school, we're building, doing gardening, harvesting, creating like the garden. I did a video a couple weeks ago. I think I did a video, and in that video I did kind of like a time lapse of where it was and where it is. And this spring seemed the hardest because it was like the finishing of it, and so we had a lot more trees, we had to design a bunch of different stuff. And so yeah, it's the whole build itself is like, I knew it was going to be a long process, but I thought the cabin would be done by now, and I thought the cabin would probably be done like at least in last spring into the summer. But we're staying in the barn for one more winter. um,
Okay.
it will be all closed in at least for this winter, so all the windows, doors, sliding glass doors, insulation, all that will be done before winter hits. That we know we have all the material except for insulation, so at least it'll be closed in. And then throughout the winter, we'll do a little bit here and there, because Mike's in his final semester of school, and it's a tough one. Like, he's feeling it, and he's working part time too.
Mhm.
So and then so we kind of have Saturday as a rest day and Sunday as a house day, but Monday to Friday is devoted to work, school, gardening, whatever we can, kind of stuff. So it's a lot harder than we thought. Um, but again, at the end of it, it will be worth it. All in the end, it'll be worth it.
Oh yeah, and what happened here? So one of my question I was wondering, like I know there's a bunch of differences when you hire someone like a contractor to build a house compared to when you do it yourself.
Mhm.
But what would you say were the major maybe issues or because life happens,
Yeah.
and what were the biggest struggles that caused the house to take like over 2 years to be?
Um, there's a few things, like cost of everything was a factor. We thought that with the profits that when we sold the cabin, we thought that that would at least cover the majority, and it hasn't. So that was also one of the pushes for me to go back to work, also so Mike can finish his school, because he with his shoulder injury, um he hasn't been able to do as much, and he was doing a physical job before, so it was between building a house and doing a physical job, it was hard for him. um So there's that. The finances was huge. The physical toll it takes, the things that you don't know. So, and then some of the things are like, oh, well, we can fix that. It's not a problem. But then you realize, if an inspector comes out or you're, just, I remember one day I was walking along and I looked at the side of the house and I'm like, where our concrete base is, we have an entrance for our water line or our hydro line. But I'm like, wait, where's the entrance for the water line? And we didn't have one that was beneath the frost line. So now we're like, okay, now we have to drill the concrete or we have to build a well house. And it's all those things that you don't know until it's too late. And then you have to backtrack. So there was a lot of that. And I guess just time, you feel you don't get a rest really unless you purposely take one. But
I was just gonna say, like you see in those shows like Mountain Man and stuff like that, they build a house by themselves. They just build this little cabin where they're gonna stay for the winter, maybe. And you guys want to have a house, a home for the rest of your life, so you have to think about a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to have the water, you have electricity, you want to have, like the exit of everything, like the
yeah.
sewers.
As hard as it is, I am glad, because we've had a lot of people say to us, like just in family and friends, why did you build the barn first instead of the house first? And there's a couple reasons for it. And one of them is I knew if we built the house first, we would never build this barn or this garage or whatever it's considered. And we would never have that. And it was important for Mike. So I knew, for lack of better terms, come hell or high water, we'll get that house done. But also by taking our time, it's allowed us to get to know the house and get to know what our needs are. And so we've changed the layout a couple different times. We are set, and we've been set for the last year of where everything is going to be. But I also wanted to incorporate character and stories to things. So, for example, my brother, I haven't posted this on a video yet, but we had our stairs built back in May. And my brother was part of that. Or, you helped with the initial window, but like I wanted pieces in the house that were important. There was there's a cool story. It's going to be the centerpiece of our home, like for decorations. A friend of ours from the States that we met through YouTube, she does barn quilts. And so we ordered one from her. It all goes towards building her food forest. And then we are going to put this in a video, but anyways, it turned out that the shipping to Canada was just ridiculous. So we had it shipped to Michigan. And when we went to Michigan, when we were going to go to Michigan, Mike would pick it up and we'd bring it back home. But the shipping even to Michigan was crazy. So we have this art piece that's beautiful. It's a barn quilt and it's made by a friend. But in the end, it was a lot of money to end up getting. And so, just the stories and the history, being able to buy used, that's important for me. Like not refurbishing, but I guess refurbishing things. It's important to me. Yeah. And not another thing too, there are certain things we are buying brand new. For example, my stove, my cook stove, it's brand new. And we didn't go, I don't even know the proper word. I'm tired, but we didn't chintz out on that. Like we put our money because we knew that's going to be something that's lasting forever.
Yeah.
And same with our kitchen. We're going to end up, unless we come across a really good deal, we're going to end up getting like a newer kitchen, but we have time to save for that, right? And so adding that character, those stories, those little pieces were very important for me to build a home if we were going to go that route. And so as tough as it is, I know by this time next year we'll be sitting inside roasting over a fire or sitting by a fire and inside the cabin. So
Eating lasagna.
Yeah.
That famous lasagna.
Yeah.
But I'm not so sad about the window part. I was thinking about that. Like, I mean, you're gonna have a food forest. You have an elderberry tree.
Mm-hmm.
It's from me, so I'm still
Mm-hmm.
gonna be part of
Yeah,
your
like all those
forever.
pieces. Yeah. Yeah. And like Mike and I put our when we poured the cement, our handprints are in the house. We did that in the barn too, but little pieces like that, that come with time and thought, right?
Maybe with the grandbabies there too eventually.
What was that?
Tracy's saying maybe with the grandkids here too, there too eventually.
Here, that's the hope. The kids have been coming up a lot, this summer in particular, and my son has been, well, two of our kids have been a great help because they live, well, not close to here, but closest to us, and so they've been a great help. And I already know my son wants to move out. It's just I think he's trying to convince his fiance, but that's the hope. And then too, having them here, just even Mike and I were just talking about this not too long ago. When the grandkids come up, there's a beach nearby, and it's pretty secluded. And every summer so far, they've been up here, and they've got to enjoy that, and they got to enjoy some of the stuff that they just can't in the city. And so when Parker, my second or my middle grandchild, when he was up last weekend, he kept saying to me, "Grandma, I want to go pull a carrot. Can I go get a carrot, or can I go get a tomato?" And so, planting those seeds in the grandkids is important too.
And it's funny you mentioned the carrot because, um, well, you know, my grandfather passed away last week,
Mm-hmm.
and the last time I spoke to my grandparents, that's the one thing I remember telling them. When I
Mm-hmm.
was a kid, I remember going at my grandparents' place, asking to go in the garden, asking to eat a carrot.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't know better, right? They're this big, and you want to eat them because they're so good.
What I
Now,
got it, what I got a kick out of it. He was so proud because I showed him one time how to pick it and kind of clean it off if he wants to eat it while he's in the garden. And every time somebody would come, he'd be like, "Dad, come look. I can clean it off." And he breaks the tops off. He pulls the like little root out or breaks the root off. And then he wipes it off with his shirt and he starts eating it. And that touched me because I showed him once and it like stuck in his brain. Right. So
and it's something he's gonna remember for the rest of his life.
yes. Yeah. That's
Even if it gets to the point where you forget,
yeah.
you won't.
Yeah. Oh, I think Mr. Mike is home. The dogs are freaking out there. One more winter. Yes, we are. And then too, when Mike is done school, um, not that we'll have way more time, but at least it'll be a little bit like he's working basically from 8 in the morning until an hour and a half to 2 hours before he has to leave for school. And all of his classes, like he's just getting home. So he got up at 7 this morning, worked for 8, and he's just getting home from school.
Well, so
Yeah.
you must be really tired. But on the
Yeah.
weekend, you can rest a little bit, even though you have a bunch of things to do at home.
Yeah. I give him a day. Hey Mike, I'm on Remy's live.
Hey, Mike.
I'm on his live. Mm. Say hi.
Hey.
What time is it actually?
8:30 your time.
Wow. Tonight's an early night too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up before
Well, you look great for someone that's been up for more than 12 hours.
I just cut his hair. Well. I just cut his hair over the weekend too.
Oh, you didn't do like a survey on this haircut this time?
No, this one was pretty good. His hairdresser is pretty good this time. People are saying hi to you in the chat, Mike.
All right, give me just a second.
Okay.
Tracy's saying hi, Mike. So what would you say, like, I mean, I know you've talked about a few of the struggles you've had.
Mm-hmm.
If you had like one thing that really threw you out of your chair, maybe that something you didn't really not expect to happen? If there was one thing that's coming out, what would it be?
Like for the house, or just something over the last couple of years since we started building?
Well, maybe since you started building.
Uh,
Because I know you've had, like, I remember that one big storm where
that was
generator would not start.
yeah, that. And then in the last year, we've had, a year as of May, we had that big storm that came through and knocked out most of our woods. We were without power for 10 days. Then right after that, that's when I crushed my hand on the log splitter. And then after that, Maggie got hit by a car. So it was like one thing after another for a time. So that's all of that kind of played a factor too into, like, last year we could have been putting time into the garden, but we had storm cleanup, or we could have been and we still have a lot of stuff that's like, our trees are, bent in half that need to come down, but that's the last thing that on our mind, because it's not near the house. So that we weren't expecting Mike to go to school. We had thought about it, and that threw us for a big loop, for a good way. But we weren't expecting it, and everything kind of happened last minute. And so that also played a factor into the time. Yeah, just everything all combined.
Tracy's giving me more work.
So
Thank
what
you,
happens
Tracy.
when you do that? Like, so he gifted memberships to other people?
Yeah, you can. You have the option. You have the option if you click like the little money symbol there. You can do membership gifting, and you can choose how many you want to give away.
Oh, cool.
And then it's randomly selected by whoever clicked on allow gifts.
Okay. I gotta get back. Sorry?
I was going to say those 5 people, Cottonwood Range, Wild Edibles, Marshmallow Man, Little Ridge Farm, and Turtle TV, they all at some point clicked that they would allow free gift membership.
Oh, cool. That's awesome. I got to get back onto your membership. When everything happened with our bank and stuff, I removed everything and changed all our cards. And even I'm on my lab or on my phone now, because I had never been on Facebook on my laptop, and I couldn't remember my password. So.
No, I was gonna say I love you anyway, but Mike is looking at me like I can't say that. But you're good. You're good. No, seriously, it's okay. No, but I find it's a good way, because if it was me giving away free membership to people, you don't know if they really want it or not, and then we're kind of in a gift war, kind of, but by doing that, you're kind of giving Tracy's giving me a chance to prove them what I can do. So basically, for the next month, I have to put as much stuff out there as possible for members, and hopefully they'll stay. If they don't, they don't. Still gonna give me. So basically, he's gifting me about $15, which is cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
What would you say
every day
for the loop? Like, if there was one thing over the last couple of years that has thrown you for a loop in this whole process, what would it be?
I know.
He'll get back to you.
I would have to say, the biggest hurdle I've had to go over is that I didn't know how to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I overcomplicate things.
Oh yeah. So
I will beat that dead horse into another life and back to death again, just trying to figure out the best way to do it, because I've run into problems where I've just barreled ahead and completed something and then realized that 2 steps down the road, it's going to cause issues.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm always looking 2 steps down the road, trying to make sure that I don't fall into a trap.
But then again, we don't know what we're doing at the same time. So sometimes you don't know what you know. What I think a good example of what he's talking about is we have side panels on the cabin that aren't logs. They're more like, what are they, an inch thick? 2 inches thick? Like
They're an inch thick.
They're an inch, like they're boards that go up that look like the logs, but instead of carrying the logs all the way up, they're just boards. And so he noticed something was off about them, and I noticed that they didn't what's it called?
They were okay. So
no, what was the material that that goes around a house?
Oh, the house wrap.
Yeah, like
Tyvek.
Tyvek, there it is. So it wasn't Tyvek, and so I was bugging Mike, like I think we should pull the boards down and Tyvek it. And then it was, he was like, no, we can do this a different way. But then he found an issue with the sideboards and the panels, and they had to come down anyways. But Mike spent more time stressing and thinking about having to do it than it actually took us to do it. And so he's very internal, and he spends a lot of time to process and think. And he spent weeks like, oh, I got to do this. And he was mad. And meanwhile, it took us an hour and a half if we just went and did it. And so sometimes it's stuff that doesn't seem hard. And other times it's more like the, oh crud, we didn't put in the water hole. What are we going to do? Yeah. And so, I mean, it's still turning out. We stained it a few weeks ago. I absolutely love the color we chose. And that made it almost like we got to hustle and get stuff done now because I just want to be in it. So,
but taking time to think and analyze everything is something that I do. And I think on the long run, it's probably saved you a bunch of time. But Tracy's asking, looking 2 steps down the road, working and going to school, where do you get all the energy?
What energy?
Let's just say I have a lot of physical positive reinforcement from my wife.
A lot of what? What? Like I'm gonna slap you? Yes. No. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, you better get to work. Go. Why are you even in here? Go out and finish something in the cabin.
Honestly, that's something that Angie and I both share. Is we learned early on, if we don't do it ourselves, nobody's going to do it for us, really.
Yeah.
So we just get up and start barreling through and getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And I find that a lot of times when I start discussing something with somebody, as soon as I find the clear path and I see it, I don't want to talk anymore. I just want to get something done. And the further into the discussion I go, the angrier I get because I'm losing time on getting something done.
Oh, he stewed for like a couple of weeks towards it was probably more than a couple of weeks. But whenever he thought about it, he'd be like, son of a, and he'd be so mad. And I'm like, dude, if we just do it, it'll be done. And then you don't have to stress about it. And then we did it. And it was like, what, an hour and a half?
Yeah, it was.
It happens.
But it's also frustrating when you think something's done and you have to go back to it.
Yeah.
Right? So, but yeah.
And that's my ultimate goal with everything I do is I want to do it once and never look back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you have to do it the right way. But yeah, if you forget to put the water pipe, then you have to start over.
Too soon, man. Just too soon.
He's been stewing about that for like a year and a half. A year.
It's a loan from the bag, Tracy.
Tracy said, Dave said north of 7 siding or Tyvek.
Yeah, that's what they call it up here.
Is it not supposed to be Tyvek?
No, it is, but the joke is that people will Tyvek their house so they get the walls up, the insulation on, Tyvek the house, and then wait 2 or 3 years so they can afford the siding. So it's the north of 7 siding.
There's nothing wrong with that. 2 or 3 years.
Dude, we've been living in a barn for 2 years.
And one ththing that kills me about being in the barn, other than the windows, is the amount of dust.
Mm-hmm.
It is insane because we're dirt floors, but we put something down on them.
It doesn't matter. Upstairs, In the loft part?
Yeah.
Just like next to no dust.
Yeah, it's definitely from this main floor. But
what I could do is I could like throw plastic down over everything, I guess.
Trevor does that a lot. Drives me crazy.
Yeah.
He will think and plan forever for. Yeah, that's Mike. The first time I noticed that about him, the one thing too, from us being, well, not so much since Mike's been in school, from us being together all the time, we really, really got to know each other. So when you're working all the time, like when we lived in the city, we always had things to do, and we had the kids too. And so now that we're maybe not so much in the last year, but since we've lived up here, we've really gotten to know, like, I picked up on this about Mike, about analyzing too much. When I asked him to build a chicken coop, he spent 2 or 3 months, and all that was done was like the frame to the bottom. And then I had ordered my chickens because I said, we can have it done by this time, right? And he's like, yeah, it's fine. And he wanted to make it so perfect that paralyzed him almost, right?
I kept redesigning it, and then designing more into it.
And then I got a call, and it was still just the stands and the frame on the bottom. And I got a call from the place where we ordered chicken saying, they arrived early. Can you come get them? Mike had it done in 2 days. Like 2 days. And
it's like a girl when you tell her there's a visit coming. Suddenly all the house is clean. Boom. Everything looks impeccable.
Same thing.
Same thing. See?
I'm not admitting to nothing.
Well, I remember a certain someone saying something about, people coming over during the weekend for the conference. I have to get things ready, get things done, clean out the yard. And I remember it.
Oh, I do. If you tell me you're going to be here in 20 minutes, all of a sudden this place will be spotless. It might be all tucked away in cupboards, but you will see it spotless.
Yeah, you wouldn't even recognize the property from the last time you were here.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I saw the garden tour. It looks amazing.
Next year will be bigger. And the plan is to keep expanding. But I have my garden so far. I have my space. And so I'm going to continue to use that until everything else is off our plate, and then we'll expand. But it'll be much bigger, much, much bigger.
Next year, I won't feel as bad if I drop seeds of whatever somewhere, this year. I had some bean seeds, and I'm like, I should just put that in the mud right there. Maybe it'll grow at some point, and they'll be like, who the hell put some beans there? But then I figured it would go over with a backhoe or like trucks or whatever, and you would just rip it all out, and it would have been for nothing. So
yeah,
the chances are that I wouldn't recognize it and see what anything was.
Not right now, because anywhere that's not ground or driveway or garden or driveway ground is all weeds. And so another thing, he is seeing this year how much the goats actually kept up with all of the weeds and things like that, because we're overtaken. Like eventually it'll be fine. It's just not something I'm worrying about this year. But the goats really did do us well. Like, that's all I can say is, like, I didn't even know we had St. John's wort on the property. We have tons of it. The amount of weeds that are up, we didn't even see. Even when we first started clearing and stuff, they just went right to town. So for 2 summers, they had access to everything. And this is the first summer where it's like, oh, wow.
They're saying Star Wars and party at your place next year. May the 4th be with you, Angie.
Mike wouldn't oppose to that.
Would that be around the time that it's supposed to happen?
I think, I thought it was it May 4th or 6th?
May 4th is a Saturday.
I was just looking through my email. I haven't been in my Me and You Acres email in a long time. And I there's another homesteading conference that emailed me and invited us. Because here it is. It's Ontario Homesteading Festival.
Yeah, I got an invite from them as well, but like I told them, I mean, it's about 12 hours away, so it's kind of hard for me to go just like that. But
yeah,
it's probably nice. But from what I heard, I guess there was a lot of things that were really expensive.
Oh, I don't know. This is the first I'm seeing about it. But what I find cool is there wasn't any in Ontario, anyways. I don't know about the rest of Canada that I knew of. And I know a few people had been looking, and I didn't know of any other than like, you know, your weekly, what do you call them? Like not fairs.
Garage sales?
No, when you go
farmer market.
Farmer market. Wow, I'm tired. Other than stuff like that, where it might be a bigger one, or I haven't heard any homesteading conferences, and now there's 3 that I've heard of in Ontario.
That's
alone.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll go make us some burgers.
Okay.
Oh, nice. So Tracy's asking if there's any more goats in the future.
There might be, yes.
Yeah.
The first thing that we're gonna get is chickens, and again, it's more like probably next year. I was gonna get them this year, chickens, anyways, but I'm like, nope. I that's a want. It's not a need right now. Yes, it will provide eggs, but I have neighbors that have chickens that I can get eggs from right now. And so that would just put more on our plate. So I did the good girl thing and I said no.
Good girl.
Good girl.
And it's fun when you have neighbors or someone nearby that you can share some stuff with. I know Sal's been talking about that a lot. Like you keep saying, you know, I can grow potatoes on my property. You can grow carrots. Let's you grow carrots, I'll grow potatoes, and we can switch. Right. And we kind of did that at the community garden this year, where I grew a bunch of beans, like so many beans. And I mean, at some point I was like, everyone's harvesting beans but me. And then suddenly it just started producing. It's like, boom, like I have like 60 jars of beans right now. I have some frozen, and I have more than anything I've harvested still in the garden standing that I just don't have time to harvest. So I told a bunch of people, just go and grab whatever you want. And so a buddy of mine's like, you want us to go? Like, yeah, sure, go. It's like, okay, we're going to go. And I went there to pick a few pounds, and it didn't even look as though anyone had been there. That's how much beans I had. And then he sends me a message. He's like, you want to have some potatoes? I'm like, yeah, sure. Go in my aisle and grab some potatoes. You know, it was like, I have too much of this, too much of that. Just go and grab some and share, and it's fun.
Yeah. I was able to go in my garden last weekend, and this is when it was like I could be I have been in my garden every single day, but somebody was here and they were struggling, and they had gone down to the beach with my son, and by the time they came back, I harvested a bunch of food that I get, like potatoes, some carrots, lettuce, tomatoes, little onions, kale, and I gave them like a little basket of food, and a medium size, and that's where I want to get to. I want a garden so big that I could just say, you know, take.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to give.
Yeah.
Marilyn's asking Mike if he's watching Ashoka.
Mike, do you know of a show called Ashoka? Ahsoka? He knew how to say it, so I'm assuming yes.
Yeah, I'm assuming no. The one that I was watching.
Oh, it was the one I went into because our TV's in our bedroom. I went into the bedroom last night, and he was like, "Do you mind if I just watch an episode?" I'm like, "No, go ahead. I don't care." And that's the show he was watching. So yes.
So chances are I've watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tracy's watching it, and apparently it's good because they both like it. Hello, Tiffany. Saying hi to each other. Hello, 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 hello. Saying hi. Scott is here. You're not going live tonight, Scott. It's nice to have you here. Saying hi, hi. Saying hi to you. Hi to me. Awesome. All right. I haven't been watching any new shows lately. I'm more the kind of guy that when I don't have time, I'll put on something I've already watched and just start over from start. And then, like, if I fall asleep on it,
that's what we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike's walking away. Oh, we don't know anything about that. Yeah, no. Right now we're Supernatural is what we're falling asleep to. That's one of his favorites. I like the show too. But
Pretty good,
yeah, if it's just me, I'm probably watching Dr. Quinn.
So we have Glenda sitting next to Scott. That's pretty awesome.
Hello.
Supernatural is one that I've watched at least 15 times from one end to another because every season it seems that between the season I just start over, watch everything again.
And you always like you pick up on something different when you watch it again and again. House is another. There's this show called House that we've watched. Sons of Anarchy is one of my favorite. Outlander is another really good one for me. Mike was into the first couple seasons, like ish, not really. And
I have to say, like, Supernatural is one of my top 3 probably. I like shows like Walking Dead. That one was just redundant after a while. I mean, that one is falling down on my Walking Dead.
Yeah.
You know, after a while, it's only wars between different clans, and it's just like, okay, we've been there, done that. My 2 favorites, I would have to say, are either Lost, which is the one I'm watching now, or Fringe. Fringe is something different.
I haven't seen that.
No?
No.
They're a little bit older. I think they both started around 2005, I think, and went on for like 5-6 years.
Okay.
But Lost is a story about how they crash on an island. And
I remember that. Yeah.
You realize that there's a bunch of things happening on the island.
Yeah. I think I watched a couple episodes of that, and then I just wasn't into that. I'm trying to think. State New York. Grace and Fire.
Yeah, that's Glenda.
She's up. Okay. I was like, oh, that was another show that I watched. Grace Under Fire. It was a TV sitcom. Grace Under Fire. It's an older one, I think in 90s, and I loved that show.
Hello, Lynn. Saying that she likes watching stuff she already watched because she knows how it's gonna end. I'm pretty sure my favorite of all time has to be Fringe.
Really?
Yeah. If you like the supernatural stuff, if you like science and all that kind of stuff, this show is kind of a mix between X-Files and Supernatural, but it's more on the science stuff.
Okay.
Everything weird happening is caused by a scientist at some point trying to make an experiment on the planet, kind of. Which is kind of the storyline of the show. But it's really, really cool the way that I find that it's cool the way they explain things. You know, like you'll be watching the show and you'll be like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. And then you'll have like the big genius scientist explaining how it's possible. And they'll be like, you know what? We don't have the technology, but it would actually make sense, kind of. You know, where there's someone like walking through a wall and you're like, that's impossible. But then it'll be like, well, like all the atoms of the wall are like, if you put rice in a glass and you put something on top, it won't go down, it won't move. But if you start shaking it, it'll go down. That's how he explains how you could be walking through walls. I mean, I know it's pushing it, but if we had the technology, in theory, we could move the cells of a wall and maybe walk through it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, the way they explain things is kind of like.
I'll have to watch it because you're not doing a good job.
It's a good one. It's a good one. We are waiting.
I'm more like Mike. Mike and I have talked because Mike's a big movie guy, and when he likes a movie, he likes that movie and shows. And I do have a few favorites, but yeah, he's more into like the TV. I'm more into the realistic. So like my favorite movies are something that could happen, like Twister, or Cinderella Man is another, like, one of my favorite movies. But I like shows that I guess I can relate with. I don't like sci-fi fantasy type of stuff. I don't like that. I'll watch them. Some of them I get into, some of them I don't. But Mike is more down that alley and avenue. I'm more like, put on the classic ER. I loved that show. Or Dr. Quinn. That was another favorite. Like, it's more, yes, it's not truth, but it's more
realistic,
I guess.
Yeah. And to me, I watch movies because I'm trying to escape reality, maybe.
That's what Mike says.
Yeah. When I watch Lord of the Rings or The Matrix or, those TV shows, it's like, that's what I like.
They're on TV, which those ones in particular, Mike will watch time and time again. I either play on my phone or do a hobby or something. There's a cow. There's another cow. I think that was the same cow. Yeah, Mike's like, Twister.
Yeah. Again, saying she tried watching Supernatural, but just could not watch the first episode.
The first episode does not do the rest of the series justice at all.
Yeah. It's when you try to explain like the basic of the story. I don't know. It's like at some point you have the religious point of views in there, but not in a not in a way that non-religious people can't relate. It's more like Lucifer's walking on Earth. He's actually creating chaos. They have to find a way to put him back in the cage, and then there's a fight between demons and angels and all that kind of stuff, and it's pretty cool. David wants to start watching Yellowstone.
Oh, I like that. I saw he made a comment about 1883. I tried watching Yellowstone. The first 2 episodes, couldn't get into it. But then later on, that was when, like, a couple years ago. Then later on, when 1883 came out, I watched that and I was like, couldn't stop watching it. So then I was like, okay, I'll give the show another chance, Yellowstone. And so I watched it, and then once I got into it, like, I'd say I started getting really into it about 3-4 episodes in, and then I like got into it. But so far, 1923, I've watched the first episode, and I'm not like dying to go back. I've watched maybe 3 over time, but I could tell you a couple pieces to it, but 1883 I couldn't stop watching. The minute it started, that show, I was like, quiet. Oh, Burn Notice. We loved that show. Loved that show.
Never watched it.
It's one. Is it Canadian, Mike? I don't know, but it's a few years old. It reminds me of Canadian TV. But it's a few years old. It's based, like, the story is based out of, it's more like spy okay. Movie. But, or show, I should say. Burn Notice is one of our faves. We can watch that time and time again.
I have to write that down. And I just remembered that I somehow deleted my reminder list. So I'll write it down here. Usually when I don't want to forget something, I just write myself an email.
Yeah, I lose notes.
How'd you call that show again?
Burn Notice.
Burned?
Yeah, like, ouch, I gotta burn. Notice.
It will look something like this. Okay, there it is. So, okay. All right. Lynn saying she's watching a lot of YouTube. I know, right? There's this show on YouTube called Bucket List Homestead. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Me and your makers, T-Hand141 Homestead. Those are pretty cool. There's a lot of cool channels out there, really, for anyone. If you want to learn about homesteading, there's someone in the community that will fit your taste. That's what I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't watch Lost. A lot of questions and no answers for seasons. Yeah, it's true that a lot of questions you have at first are not explained until the end. But once you see the end, it's like, okay, that's why, the smoke monster didn't come back, or that's why this happened, or Glenda saying she loves that show.
Oh, Grace Under Fire. I think that was in reference to that.
Yellowstone is awesome. 1883. So I ended up being in some sort of a pool for the new show that's coming out, Survivor. Well, it's not a new show. I mean, a new season of Survivor. I've never watched Survivor. And there's 9 of us. We're just putting $10 in just for fun. We select two participants each, and whoever has the winner in this list will win the money. I have no idea. I just told them, pick the cutest one.
That's pretty awesome.
Old shows don't make me angry. True. Lately, the shows are a bit more close to what we're living in life. It's not always fun. Scientists experimenting on the planet, so it's a true story. The only difference is in the TV show Fringe, they get so smart that they know how to use math to time travel, but it's done in a cool way. Matter does not hold us up. Force does. There's a lot of empty space between atoms. Exactly. There's a cow. There's a cow. I think it was the same cow. I'm far behind on the chat as I can, from what I can. Well, only 5 minutes. That's not so bad. Yeah, apocalyptic stuff. I find that most of the time I watch a show and I'm just like, man, you're so stupid. Why are you that stupid? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Like, you're in a zone.
What? I'm sure there's people that say that about us too.
Yeah, probably. Why are you doing this? You're so dumb.
Why are you doing it this way? You should be doing it this way. It's
Why
so
did you think about putting the water?
Why?
Why?
I don't know.
Matrix made my brain hurt. I know, right?
I still don't understand it, and I think I've seen it 3 times.
You don't understand it?
I don't care to. Mike has tried to explain it to me so many times because he loves that movie, and I'm like, I don't. Doesn't comprehend a.
The simplest way to explain it would be the machines have taken over the world, and they're using the human bodies as batteries, and to keep us alive, they send our brains into a computer. So we live in a virtual reality, and our body is out there being used as a battery for the machines.
Okay.
That's a pretty easy way to explain it.
That's straightforward to the point. I understand more now.
Yeah. It was too stressful. I was always skipping, so I just did not continue. And that's about Supernatural. Yeah. And it is a show that if you find the first episode stressful, the rest is even more stressful, I guess.
Yeah.
And I find the first season of Supernatural was mostly about urban legends, like Bloody Mary, the lady in the white dress, and vampires and things like that there. I Love Lucifer, completely different. I didn't watch that show.
I saw a little bit of it. I just, well, no, it like Mike liked it.
Yeah. So maybe I would like it.
It was okay. I like putting on, like, since we've been in here, like when we were in the cabin in the other property, we didn't have a TV in our bedroom. We did at first, but then about a year before we moved, I'd say, we got rid of the TV in our room and we just had it in our living room. That was it. That was all. And then since we put the TV in our room here, we did have a TV out here, but it broke. So we have one in our bedroom now, and we just put it on to fall asleep, really.
Tracy's saying it's a Canadian TV show, from what I understand. Action-packed, but still polite. Due South, Food Network. Survivor is okay, just has nothing to do with really surviving. Yeah, I find those reality shows are most of the time like even more staged than regular shows.
All right, I got it easy. You want to know what burn notice is like?
What?
You ever watch those old episodes, like the original MacGyver, not the new one?
No.
You never saw MacGyver?
I'm too young.
How are you my friend?
Wait, how are you too young?
All right.
I haven't been 40 yet.
So
Quantum Leap?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay, so those original TV shows, there was a pattern to how the show went. There was like they had this pattern that go by. So the main actor would go about, unraveling the story, and then at points he would actually narrate over top, like what his thoughts were and how he was going about thinking about how to solve the problem. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it's a combination of MacGyver and like a spy.
Oh, it's totally a spy movie.
MacGyver was one of my favorites as a kid.
I love MacGyver.
Yeah, and Quantum Leap too. They have a new show out. I have not seen that, so they kind of Quantum Leap. They rebooted it. It's not with the same actors or nothing, but it came out either last September or this September. I don't know. And I didn't like the previews, but the old Quantum Leap was really good.
I'll put it in my list.
Old Quantum Leap. From the series ran from 1989 to 1993.
Hey.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I was born.
Yeah.
Marilyn saying that she saw the new one. Tracy saying Richard Dean Anderson is awesome in MacGyver.
Yes.
Lynn saying a lot of movies I can't watch because of my years. It's why I can't go to the theater anymore. Yeah, same thing with my girlfriend. She's not coming to the theater anymore. But she at some point we were going to every single Marvel movies coming out. Every single one of them we were going out together. It was like our night out once every 3-4 months. But now she can't come anymore.
I did. It's in the bags over there. Out there. I hate movie theaters anymore. When I was a kid, my brother was a manager at a Cineplex Odeon, and so like free movie passes, like here's a pack, and so I was always there. And then he sometimes babysat me and my sister while at the movie theater, so we'd always be in a movie theater. I mean, it was pretty cool back then, but now I would just rather like have a big screen TV and surround sound and
yeah.
Plus,
it's expensive. You go there, like if I go there with just 2 kids, it's gonna cost me over $50 for a movie, and I'm probably gonna get for free in a few weeks.
Yeah, unless it's something I'm like Like they had a storm movie come out. It wasn't it wasn't
Storm.
The Perfect what?
I think it was Perfect Storm. No,
it wasn't the perfect. It was another like tornado movie, and I'm like, I'm going to the theater for that one, and it wasn't that great, but I still went to the theater thinking it would be.
Dave said Mike and Angie are real. You can't make this stuff up. Tracy talking about Stargate. I remember seeing that show, not religiously, but I was really, really young back then. So whenever it was on, I would watch it, but I didn't really follow it. Take care, Lynn. Huga Homestead, thank you so much for being here. And the cat just brought in some kind of rodent, and then 2 cats are playing tennis with it. Oh, that's awesome.
They are going to be yours started hunting?
Not yet. He's supposed to get his vaccine in a week, so I want him to be vaccinated before he goes out. Plus, I was reading that he needs to be here for like at least a month to get used to us, to get used to the house. So it would be around the same time. So, but he's hunting flies in the house.
Yep.
Your bed
we're missing one of our kitties.
He didn't come back.
Not yet. No, she's gone. Part of me thinks that someone may have brought her in because she was. She didn't go missing. Like they sometimes wander for a day or two. It's not uncommon for them to do that. The girls, Moby's always on the property. If I go out and call him, he's there. But Mom and Abby will go away for a day or two, and it's not uncommon for them to do that. And then, so Abby did that. She was gone for 2 days, and then she came back. And then the next time she was gone for, I don't know, I think it was like 5 days. And then she came back just like, hi, I'm home. Like nothing happened. And this time it's been about, I'm going to say a week and a half to 2 weeks. So I'm not thinking the best right now. It's either she's gone or she's gone or she's just really worrying us. So,
well, the thing about cat, if it can help you a little bit, they're good hunters. They're predators.
Oh,
I had a cat once a couple of years back, and I couldn't keep it because I had to go back to my parents for a while, and they didn't approve of the cat, so I had to give it away to my uncle, and he let it out, and the cat never came back. That was in June. I'd like to say June 2006. Or maybe 2007. But then, like the following year in the spring, I saw the cat. It was still alive, and it wasn't even at the same place. It was like maybe 3 kilometers down the road on my buddy's property. He was living with me. He had the cat, and he moved at his parents' place as well, that we're living about 5 minutes away from where my uncle was. And Sly the cat knew each other, and he followed the cat, and we fed him, but he was kind of wild. I mean, there was no way we could approach him. We give him some food. We had to get out of the way so he could come and eat.
Yeah,
I could see that one of his ears was attacked by something, like there was a piece of his ear missing. But he was not skinny or anything. Like he was eating good. I don't know what he was eating, but he was eating in the wild.
Yeah. See, if she's not been got by a predator, or like if she's just out jollying around, which she does sometimes, I know she'll come back. She's a big suck. She has her places with us, and in the barn. So I know she'll come back. It's just, did someone take her? Or like thinking she's a stray, or did something get her? So I don't feel confident that something got her. If anything, I think more along the lines of, because she was a stealthy one. So I think more along the lines of maybe somebody picked her up. So I've started putting notices out. I found some group for Ontario animals, and like it's already got like 20 something shares. I've been contacting or looking at the Facebook pages of like, not local, because we don't really have a local, but animal shelters, Humane Society in Kingston, like stuff like that. So far, nothing. So we'll see.
Well, I really hope that you find them.
I do. Out of all the kitties, she was our like dainty but stealthy, but you know, she was our survivor. So.
Yeah. Tracy saying get the cat in a ritual like giving them a cat treat before bed so it will want to come home before you go to bed. We've been trying to do that with ours. That's what I told the kids. Like try shaking the treat bags before you give them a treat. That way they'll know if you shake it, then it means the treat is there, is available for them. So that way if they're out and they're nearby, you can make them come home.
She out of all the cats, they all enjoy the treats, but she was like, if she even thought she heard the bag, she would be in the house. So
she's not nearby. See, my chaplain don't like treats. I can't even call him with that if he runs away. Well, that's not fun. I've been on for about an hour and 20 minutes. I have to get up early in the morning, and you're obviously hungry. I'm gonna let you eat, and it's okay. I don't mind, but it's just that I still want to go to bed. I have to get up early at around 7 tomorrow morning, and I have to butcher my turkeys. And it's been a rough couple of weeks in a good way. It's just that, you know, when you start thinking and overthinking and all that kind of stuff. I ended up staying in the same job I was. I guess the love of my colleague made me change my mind.
Right.
And some of them literally cried tears of joy when I said that I was staying. So it kind of made me feel good, you know.
Yeah, I'll ask you that off camera. I was gonna say, did you? And then I'll ask you off camera.
All right. Have a good night, everyone. Take care. I have a good short for the cat playing with the mouse. Do you think it? Yeah, probably. It's nature. All right. Take care, everyone.
Have a good night. Thank you.